Hi everyone, I hope you had a good day so far. My name is Sofiane Fessi, I lead the sales engineering team for Central Europe at Dataiku, and I have the great privilege to show you the product keynote today. So we're going to talk about some of the latest features in Dataiku for GenAI, but not only for GenAI. We're also going to announce some brand new capabilities that have not yet been released, are coming in the coming month. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the chat. So 6 years ago, when I joined Dataiku, there was this technology around that was wonderful but not so easy to manage called Hadoop. And Dataiku was the best tool in the world back then to put on a Hadoop cluster so that you can really leverage your data that was stored in there. So instead of having 10 users that are extremely technical, that are somewhat leveraging data from your Hadoop clusters, after your IT spent 20 million euros into it, you would have tens or hundreds of users truly accelerating outcomes with AI and analytics, thanks to Dataiku. And what ties together the past 10 years or 11 years since the company has been created, from the Hadoop era to the cloud era and now to the generative AI era, is that we at Dataiku are in the business of accelerating AI and analytics for our customers. That means allowing businesses to reduce time to access data, cut data preparation time by up to 80%, to leverage visual machine learning to truly accelerate prototyping for data scientists, but to also democratize the machine learning effort to non-data scientists. That also meant deploying to production in hours or days or minutes with Dataiku. At the time, maybe some of you remember that, it wouldn't be rare for a customer to tell us somewhat happily that they could deploy machine learning to production in less than 2 years. And that's it. So we have been AI accelerators for the past 10 years, and hundreds of customers, thousands of users across Fortune 500 companies, SMEs, and government agencies, including here in Germany and the Central Europe region. And so how do we manage to successfully speed up AI and analytics in the enterprise? Well, that's thanks to a platform that you might have seen this slide already, but it's important for some of the rest of the presentation. So a platform that covers the entire AI lifecycle all in one place for all of the personas involved in the development of any data product. So business analysts, data analysts, business experts, data scientists, IT, data engineers, and so on, all into one place to work together and to collaborate. It's also thanks to a platform that sits on top of your existing architecture, be it on-premise or in the cloud, and leveraging all data types and compute systems. It's also thanks to a platform that enables governance fully end-to-end for all of your data products. And it's also thanks to a platform that preserves your technology optionality by allowing you to leverage your technology choices of today while keeping you ready for the technology choices of tomorrow. So what does that mean today in the age of generative AI? What direction Dataiku has taken as a product to keep being relevant and keep being an accelerator of AI outcomes in the age of generative AI. So today that means building on the foundation of the past to provide the most comprehensive generative AI offering for the enterprise and efficiently and securely deploy these applications in your business. In the next few slides, we will see what are the Dataiku capabilities for LLMs, and plus I will have the privilege to announce you some of the new features, like I said. And while we all agree that generative AI is already and will remain a critical area for all of us in this room, it is also important to talk about how Dataiku will help you to keep democratizing AI in the business, and how Dataiku is uniquely positioned for you to be in full control of your AI initiatives with governance and MLOps and other capabilities. Because no, there will not be any success with generative AI without continuing to facilitate data access, continuing to facilitate data prep, continuing to accelerate AI experimentation, deployment, and so on. And so let's start with what enterprise-grade generative AI truly looks like. It's a product keynote, and yes, we're going to dive into the feature, but let's do a quick summary of what journey it's been so far to build, deploy, and maintain LLM in production. Can we do a quick show of hands and raise your hand if you have successfully deployed LLMs in your business up to now? Okay, so that's sort of adds up. So after GPT launch, businesses really rushed to experiment with generative AI. Probably a lot of you in this room have done it. Yet, after almost 2 years of GPT being launched, surveys find that 90% of businesses are reluctant to deploy to production. And that's due to 3 main concerns. There are performance-related, there are cost-related, and there are control-related. You might have spoken about this in the morning. I have just arrived at lunch, but we do need to talk about that. And so why is that? Well, we all started on the left side of this slide, experimenting with LLMs. We started dreaming about all the wonderful use cases that we were going to deploy, all of the tremendous business value that we were going to unleash into our business. But then we started moving past the experimentation stage, and things started getting challenging. So how do I give access to my teams to the best and latest LLMs? How do I take a foundational model and package it into a truly enterprise-grade application that I can put in front of my customers, in front of my employees? How do I customize an LLM to my own data? Because it's well and nice for an LLM to be good at math, but if you want it to be impactful for your customers in a customer service interface, you need to customize that model to a degree. And so how do you do that in a safe manner? And then more questions like, how do I integrate these models in a robust and modern MLOps and governance framework? How do I check that my models are compliant with regulations? How do I check that my LLMs are being monitored for toxicity, for hallucinations, that your models can be retrained and they can be audited when they need to? And for us at Dataiku, these are very familiar questions because we have been helping businesses all around the world with building, deploying, and maintaining AI products in production for the past 11 years. So when it came to LLM-powered applications, we were absolutely convinced that building on the foundations of our platform, we had the perfect solution to help our customers to be successful with generative AI. And our product and R&D teams have been working tirelessly to do the necessary adjustments to the platform and the new capabilities for that. So what does that look like? Last year, Dataiku rolled out a set of GenAI capabilities. On this slide, we're going to see an overview of them. And we'll dive into some of these ones more specifically in a couple of slides. But before that, we're going to spend a couple of minutes here. So according to that survey again, businesses are reluctant to deploy to production for concerns about cost, control, and performance. And so what Dataiku does to alleviate these concerns? Well, the first thing is providing access to teams to be delivering models at the highest performance by giving access to the latest LLM techniques, which is something that we've always done with machine learning since the product was created, but also to reach performance through efficiency gains. We're going to cover LLM lifecycle with a mix of visual capabilities and coding to truly accelerate the delivery of LLMs in production and to really facilitate the maintenance of LLMs in production. We're also addressing control issues by offering the broadest range of capabilities in the market for LLM ops, ML ops, and data ops out of the box. And we're also providing capabilities for cost. That's something that we're going to see also in the slide coming next. Leveraging the most cost-efficient LLM techniques, but also allowing your business to monitor all LLM-related costs in development and in production so that you can fully maximize your ROI on the generative AI. So what does it look like in terms of feature? We're going to start from the top. We have released a set of generative features that are basically powering historical, traditional features of Dataiku, like the visual recipes, the code recipes, the flow, and so on. Some of these capabilities have been turbocharged with generative AI to make your teams more productive, thanks to LLM on data prep, coding, and other common tasks. We've also released Prompt Studio to iteratively design and test prompts. And we have released also not so long ago Dataiku Answers, which allows you to build in a couple of seconds RAG-powered chatbot interfaces in your business. We're going to have a look at it in a couple of slides. Now, all of that is powered by LLM Mesh, which you may be already familiar with. It's a complete unique offering that enables your business to access the more popular LLMs on the market, to build the GenAI applications that you need, but also to remain in full control over your LLMs. So you already saw that this morning, so I won't get into too much details now, but it is the core component of Dataiku's offering for building and controlling generative AI at scale. And that, like for every AI initiative you must have governance, and for generative AI use case, there's no exception, far from it. And Dataiku governance capabilities are going to allow you to fully govern all of your analytics, machine learning, and LLM applications all in one place. All of that so that you can confidently and safely package generative AI into customer-facing and employee-facing applications. So this is roughly a high-level overview of what Dataiku capabilities do to address these three main concerns of cost control and performance. Now, as promised, we're going to look into some of the new capabilities, and we're going to start with the LLM guard services and its three main components, which are safeguard and quality guard and cost guard, and we're going to start with cost guard. So as you can see maybe on the screen, or hopefully you can see on the screen, Dataiku Cost Guard is an out-of-the-box, ready-to-use solution that will display all of the cost-related LLM information for business. It will give you a complete overview of LLM costs in the business, but it's also going to allow you to drill down per user, per business units, per application, even per LLM provider. That will then give you the fully comprehensive understanding of LLM-related costs in your business so that you can define budget, so that you can monitor spending, and you can truly maximize ROI with your generative AI projects. So regarding cost, that's in a nutshell how we will help you resolve this LLM cost conundrum in your business. Now, the second major concern we talked about was, before deploying LLM to production, is around control. And for that, we have the second main component of LLM guard services, which are Dataiku safeguards. So before you put an LLM into production, like for any machine learning models or data products, you need to make sure that it's not going to be harmful to your business or to your stakeholders. Is my Gen AI application going to leak my employees' PII or my customers' PII out in the open? Is my Gen AI application completely free of toxic content? Am I truly preventing my generative AI application to leverage forbidden terms or use forbidden terms? And finally, if my teams detect any of these PII issues with PII and toxicity and so on, can they quickly and easily fix the issue? And so this is what Dataiku Safeguard has been created for, without any line of code needed as well. So all you have to do is to add a detector, like you can see on the screen. You add a detector for PII, for toxic content, for forbidden terms, and so on. You can do that both at the queries level and at a response level, and that is so that you can confidently deploy your generative AI in production and not be held back by lack of control anymore. Now, control is not just about cost or safety, it's also about model quality. You remember it's our third main blocker for business to deploy LLM in production, and for that we have the third main component of LLM guard services, and that is Dataiku Quality Guard. So whether it's in development or in production, you will need to be able to evaluate the quality of your generative applications. You may be aware that one of the most popular LLM techniques or techniques to evaluate LLM is to leverage another LLM to evaluate the quality of the responses of your generative application. That's called, very simply, LLM as a judge. And we're very happy to announce that it is now coming into Dataiku as a fully visual capability, leveraging LLM as a judge as a technique to evaluate your LLM. Now, if you're familiar with Dataiku products for ML monitoring, you might somewhat be familiar with what you see on the screen. This time, we're doing monitoring not for machine learning, but for LLM metrics. And so we're going to track LLM metrics such as faithfulness, answer relevance, and context relevancy. All of that, again, out of the box so that you don't have to script it in any way. So that's it. And so data scientists love this about Dataiku. It's a historical feature of Dataiku, not for LLMs, but monitoring of models in general. They love that they don't have to code to get the metrics on model performance for model prototyping, but also for production. Because historically, Dataiku has been providing model metrics that you can also leverage in production to track model drift, for example, and then define automated actions to take to remediate these issues. For example, you want to retrain your model automatically, you want to implement champion challenger strategies, and so on. Dataiku Quality Guard will be your friend. And then last but not least, quality and performance in generative AI also comes from how much you can customize your model. In Dataiku, you can already do prompting. You can also do RAG without a single line of code. We're going to see that in the next slide as well. And now, which is another feature announcement that we bring to you today, you can take your LLMs to the next level of customization with no-code model fine-tuning. So we just spoke about no-code RAG, which is something already available in Dataiku. So it allows your team to set up in minutes chatbot interfaces that can interact with your own data without having to write a single line of code, but also in a couple of seconds. So one thing you may have experienced already is the board in your business gets really excited about generative AI, and they come to you and they're like, would like to have a generative AI application deployed in 2 weeks. And so whether it's for that situation or in general to be able to scale internal-facing or external-facing chatbots that are leveraging your own internal knowledge, we have created Dataiku and Surge, which is going to allow your teams to do that in seconds. My colleague Philippe will be doing a demo of that just after my presentation. So stay tuned if you want to see what it looks like. And so we talked about control and oversights for LLM. Now we have the pleasure to announce to you the upcoming release of LLM Registry, which is also a new feature which is coming soon. It's been designed first and foremost for CIOs and their teams to keep model documentation up to date. And that's also so that you can rationalize which model should or should not be used and for which use case in your business. So the idea is that with tens or hundreds of use cases, generative AI use cases in your business, each of them leverage several models optimizing for cost and for performance. Dataiku is going to provide here documentation and that place where you can enforce oversight on which models can or should be used and for what activities. And so LLM Registry will be soon available. I'm not sure about the release date, but that's coming very soon, and we're looking forward to its release. So now let's move to the democratization and acceleration of data activities in the enterprise. Again, here we're talking about spinning up data workers across all activities in the end-to-end lifecycle, not just about generative AI. So every step in that lifecycle, and empowering as well more people to be able to use data for their work. So in terms of new capabilities, as I mentioned earlier, part of the philosophy right now for the product is to look at some of the foundational features of Dataiku and to supercharge them with generative AI capabilities. So now we're further boosting these capabilities with generative AI, and let's see what it looks like. So the first one is, before joining Dataiku, I was a Dataiku user myself. One of my favorite features was the prepare recipe. You might be familiar with it yourself. And we loved it because it allowed us to gain so much time with data preparation time. You see it on the screen here in the animation. And the prepare recipe is now AI enhanced, meaning that you can simply write in natural language what transformation you want to add to your data set, and it will add it into the steps on the left that you may also be familiar with. So for example, you want to extract the first 5 characters of a column, you're going to simply write it in plain English, and it's going to add the step in the prepare recipe, and it's going to be there for you to leverage over time and automate as well. So we're really doubling down on data prep efficiency gain here. We also are looking at boosting productivity for coders with code assistants. It's something that you probably are familiar with already. Dataiku has now made AI code assistants available in various code environments in Dataiku, including Visual Studio Code and Jupyter Notebook. It's of course very relevant to boost coders' productivity, but also to improve the coding experience and to improve the quality and completeness of the scripts that are developed in your business. And then the last historical feature that is now boosted with AI is the flow, the Dataiku flow with AI Explain, that will generate for you in a couple of clicks workflow documentation plus explanation leveraging the generative AI. Again, enterprise AI absolutely requires good documentation, and it's not always the favorite task of everybody, really. So being able to do that in just a few clicks is another way that Dataiku helps your team to speed up even further. So these features are available in the platform already. If you'd like to see them in action, I invite you to go to the demo booth if you haven't already. My amazing team is there, will be there ready for you. And we do now have a major announcement in terms of capabilities to make as well, which is Dataiku Stories. So if we're honest, business presentations, they're often outdated the minute after they're sent. That's because people take screenshots of tools that are not always of like the most trusted data sources. And obviously in a world where data is changing constantly, that's not really how things should be. And so Dataiku Stories, users will be able to leverage simple prompts to create dynamic presentations in seconds thanks to generative AI. and leveraging data that is sourced from Dataiku as a platform. So very excited about this upcoming feature. I have already myself a couple of slides that I'm very happy that I'm not going to have to update manually every time. So looking forward to that to be released. And finally, our third section for today, our third accelerating trajectory for today. We're going to cover what makes Dataiku the best AI platform for governance and observability, if you ask me. That's largely thanks to an absolutely unique trait of Dataiku as a platform, which is that you cover the full end-to-end lifecycle in one single product. So there's not one tool for data integration, one tool for data prep, one tool for ML, one tool for coding, and so on. You have all parts of the lifecycle in one place, and it's a critical condition for the ability to have full and universal observability, oversight, and governance across all of your data projects. So what is XOps exactly? XOps is about bringing any kind of data product into production, whether it's traditional machine learning, whether it's a GenAI application, or a simple automation of data pipelines, in the exact same way. And again, that's possible only because Dataiku is a fully unified platform. And so the idea here is addressing the needs of all of the stakeholders that are involved in these deployment processes and to remove friction so that we can truly automate these workflows the most efficiently possible. So what does it look like in terms of capabilities in the platform, XOps? So it happens around three main concepts: external models, deploy anywhere, and unified monitoring, which are three capabilities in Dataiku. The first one being external models. We recognize that our users, well, they don't want only to import models into Dataiku. They have models running outside of Dataiku somewhere in other platforms. And so Dataiku external models allow you to surface, evaluate, and use models in Dataiku Flow that have been built and deployed on SageMaker, on Azure ML, on Vertex, or on Databricks. So we also recognize that our users, well, they want to deploy anywhere, even outside of Dataiku. And for that to happen, we have this feature. One of the main benefits would be, for example, it allows non-technical personas or less technical personas like business analysts to build ML models themselves, which can help take the strain off of your data science team, also remove bottlenecks to create machine learning models, and deploy them to infrastructures that are already established and deployed, and where they don't always have the skills to train a model in the first place. For example, in SageMaker, for example, for non-technical users, is not the easiest place to build a machine learning model. And then finally, unified monitoring. We have to admit one thing, which is the teams in charge of production workflows. They like for everything to be under control, and they don't want to have multiple solutions running on different platforms in production. And so for that, we have Dataiku Unified Monitoring, which provides out-of-the-box dashboards, allowing you to monitor the health and status of the Dataiku project, but also of SageMaker projects, Databricks projects that are deployed there, and for all of them to be visible within Dataiku monitoring so that you can monitor all of these solutions in one place. Now, you may be aware that the EU AI Act is coming upon us fast. And by this point, I assume everyone is familiar with the major concepts, the tiering and the financial penalties. I would say are probably like the most major ones to keep in mind. And so we saw that Dataiku and the way it's designed is making it unique to have full oversight over your analytics project and data projects and AI projects. And to wrap all of that together, we have the Dataiku Govern node. It's been around already for some time. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But if you're not familiar with the platform or the concept and the capability, again, I invite you to go and check on the demo booth or to schedule a meeting with us as a follow-up so that we can deep dive into it further. And then the last new feature announcement for today, it's a new addition to our governance offering, which is the Dataiku solution for EU AI Act readiness. So we insist on readiness because it is not a guarantee for compliance. It is really to help you set yourself up for EU AI Act that is coming. And it's really aiming at assisting you in doing the mapping of models with the risk tiers. So yeah, you can save time in doing so, and also you reduce the risk of getting the tiering and mapping wrong. Very important, especially here in Berlin and across the EU, of course. So that's it for now. We touched upon many different new Dataiku features in this keynote, some GenAI capabilities, some for governance, some for democratization of AI in the business. We also saw how these new features combined with the foundations of the platform are going to be really helping you to step into the generative AI era, confident that you can go in there and deploy to production and generate value. So if you recognize yourself in the 80% of businesses that are reluctant to deploy LLM to production, it's completely fine. But let's set up a meeting and come in the coming weeks. You'll be in good hands with our amazing team. I will leave you with this slide. If you're a Dataiku customer and you didn't know about some of the features that you've seen today, or if you're thinking about becoming a Dataiku customer and you want to dive deeper, be sure to join our Dataiku product days early next month. It's free. It's online. It's about, 30 sessions covering all areas of Dataiku. You can join 1. You can join 10 if you want. You can make your little agenda as you please. And yeah, we have tons of exciting speakers from Dataiku as well as from customers and partners. It's always amazing to hear from customers and partners in there. So make sure you join us. Thank you.